Good evening again. My name is Kim McHugh, and I'm the Program Director for Conservation of Threatened Species and Habitats here at the Desert Botanical Garden. And it is my privilege to welcome you all to the garden on this gloriously beautiful evening. And we're so pleased to see all of you come out for this very special panel discussion tonight. I wanted to say just a very few words. At the check-in table, the banner that says Central Arizona Conservation Alliance, and it is the Conservation Alliance that is putting on this panel discussion tonight, and that alliance grew out of strategic planning here at the Desert Botanical Garden, starting back around 2010, with the idea that the garden as an institution interested always, in fact, founded on the idea of conservation, specifically conservation of the desert and its flora, wanted to find ways to go beyond our garden gates and have more of contribution and impact in our local area and our region and beyond. And I think that thus far, the Conservation Alliance is doing a beautiful job of that, and this is one of the things that we're doing, bringing people together to talk about our own spaces and our preserves and taking care of the desert. Having said that, the person who really drives the Conservation Alliance is the person to my right, Stacie Beute, who I was so fortunate to be able to hire into the program coordinator position for the Central Arizona Conservation Alliance. And she's brilliant at what she does, and incredibly eloquent as well. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn the podium over to Stacie.
Thank you. My name is Stacie Beute. I do coordinate the Central Arizona Conservation Alliance. I want to welcome you to Desert Botanical Garden. This is a fabulous place for us to be able to spend the evening together. The garden is the founding and coordinating partner in the Alliance, but it's 12 different organizations and entities focused on finding ways to coalesce, I guess I would say, our collective expertise around the sustainability of our mountain parks and preserve system in and around the valley. So we're working hard to find ways to align efforts and work together to scale our impact for our preserve system and hopefully to grow it. So I'd like to welcome Dale Larsen to the podium. Dale is our moderator this evening for our panel discussion, Sonoran Desert Preserves and the Public Good, Solutions and Strategies for Land Preservation. So Dale, if you'd be so kind. Dale is the Director of Community Relations for the College of Public Service and Community Solutions, and is also a Professor of Practice in the School of Community Resources and Development at Arizona State University. Thank you, Dale.
Just like to point out that the desired outcomes of this evening's conversation is with the diversity of our panelists, their expert testimony, and your audience participation will share perspectives on a number of identified challenges, priorities, issues, connections, disconnections, social and natural science issues, relationships, and research. With your help, we hope to inspire action and lay the framework for this whole notion of resiliency and change as we go forward. In a moment, I'm going to introduce the panelists and then have them come on up to the stage. But before that, and it's actually a great introduction to Pat, we are all here because of the Arizona We Want initiative. And I'm not going to steal any of Pat's thunder because she's the mother hen of Arizona We Want, Laddie Coor being the father hen of Arizona We Want. Or the grandmother hen, is it? Is that the one? How many of you are familiar with the Arizona We Want? Just with a show of hands. Fantastic. For those of you that aren't, not just shame on you, but you'll have an opportunity when Pat talks on how you can engage with the Arizona We Want and be able to get your opinions. Before I introduce the panelists with their introduction, I'd like to kind of get just a show of hands of who you all are. So how many of you are affiliated with academics in some stretch? Okay. How many of you are related to government management of our parks and preserves? Okay. How many planners? Architects? One brave architect. That's really good. How many citizen advocates that are out there volunteering in these wonderful areas every day? Let me see. Libertarians, Republicans? No. Let me see. How many of you are policymakers within your jurisdictions that you actually have influential policy responsibilities? Well, that's a gap, and that's a void, and that's something we need to work on, and that's something that maybe at the end of this conversation we can address. Who am I missing? Nonprofit folks, raise your hands. All right. Anyone else? Neighborhood activists, thank you very much. Which neighborhood? Thank you very much. Anyone else? River Hills, very good. New River Hills? Close, okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Western Desert. All right, great. It's, again, really glad to have you here. So let me quickly go through our introductions. The folks will be able to not only speak for themselves, but be able to, I think, enrich you with their knowledge. There is one more quick introduction before the panel. I would like, since she's sitting in the back, we have with Arizona State Parks a brand new executive director of the Arizona State Park System. I'd like Sue Black to stand and be recognized. Sue has come full circle. She used to be with Arizona State Parks a few years ago, was over in Wisconsin running parks in that area, and now she's back under appointment with Governor Ducey, and we're glad to have you here, Sue. Thank you. So our first panelist this evening is Pat Beaty. Pat is the senior fellow with the Center for the Future of Arizona, which she'll talk about. Her work since 2006 has been focused on research, strategic planning, and marketing associated with the Arizona We Want Institute. She is now leading a center-wide strategic planning effort for the center that includes all institutes and universities. Formerly, Pat was Vice Chancellor of Strategic Planning at Colorado State University, who should have been in the NCAA tournament, just to let you know, and a Vice President of Strategic Planning and Marketing at the ASU Foundation. Next is Dr. Gian Nyapani. Gian is a colleague of mine with the ASU School of Resources and Community Development. He's an associate professor, and he's also our graduate program director. So, for those of you who would like to either continue with your education to get a master's or a doctorate, see Gian, and he will immediately pass your GRE, get you into the program, and you're ready to go. Gian is also affiliated with the ASU Julianne Wrigley Global Institute of Sustainability. I tell you, working for ASU now for 5 years, there is not a title that just says beep. It's the whole paragraph. Gian has been a faculty member at ASU since 2004, and what's so special about Gian's participation in this panel is that he's both a natural as well as a social science researcher, and he has worked in 3 different continents. And he's going to bring a real global perspective to what we have. He has conducted research for many agencies, including Arizona State Parks, the USDA Forest Service, the Bureau of Land Management, and the World Wildlife Fund. This is the one that I practiced the most on because it's the one that has the most technical introduction. Wendy Hodgson is the herbarium curator and senior research botanist for the Desert Botanical Garden, where she has worked for years. She holds a bachelor's degree in wildlife biology and a master's degree in botany, taxonomy, and systematics, all from ASU. Congratulations, Wendy. Her research areas of interest include Southwest U.S. and Northern Mexico floristics, rare, endemic, and invasive plants, and taxonomy and systematics of agave and yucca, including the study of pre-Columbian agave domesticates. Is that right? All right. I can read. She is an avid plant collector who strives towards making high-quality specimens in difficult groups like agave and cactus families. Wendy also believes in the power of education and the need for all to experience the great outdoors. R.J. Cardin is the director for Maricopa County's Parks and Recreation Department. It's one of the largest regional park systems in the United States. Maricopa County's regional park, and as Stacie mentioned, the growing partnership for the Central Park Alliance includes the governmental entities of Maricopa County, City of Phoenix. Am I missing anyone on the governmental side? I think those are the two primary ones, right? Maricopa County's regional park system is made up of over 120,000 acres of pristine Sonoran Desert landscape. He's got, again, a bunch of years of diverse parks and recreation experience. He also holds a master's degree from Arizona State University, and he has a bachelor's from Morningside College located in Iowa. RJ was appointed to the Arizona State Parks Board in 2013, and he currently is their chair. He sits as a fellow in the American Academy for Parks and Recreation Administration, and he was also the president of the National Association of County Park and Recreation Officials. After RJ will be Mike Nolan. Mike is the executive director of the McDowell Sonoran Conservancy. The Conservancy is a Scottsdale-based nonprofit conservation organization that helps manage Scottsdale's McDowell Sonoran Preserve. He again has decades of experience in leadership roles. Before joining the Conservancy, he spent 10 years, is it the Bernheim? Is that correct? Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest in Kentucky. They did make the NCAA basketball tournament, didn't they? Do they have a chance? Maybe? So where are your loyalties? Okay. Which is a 14,000-acre arboretum and natural area south of Louisville. Prior to that, he worked with the Nature Conservancy, and at their Arlington, Virginia headquarters, he's also worked as a geologist. Mike spent months in Hungary as an Eisenhower Fellow working with local land trusts and other NGOs. He has a degree in geology and economics from the University of Rochester. And our final panelist, who's really for purposes beyond my ability to understand what we're talking about this evening, is clearly one of the most talented, experienced spokespeople for this world that we're talking about this evening, and that's Maria Baier. Maria Baier has worked as the press secretary for the State Attorney General and as a senior policy staff for the Arizona Governor's Office, where she was the chief architect of the Arizona Preserve Initiative, Growing Smarter and Growing Smarter Plus. We owe a great debt of gratitude to Maria Baier for the work that she has done.